Hi! Hello again! And if you're new here, hi for the very first time. My name is Vanlynn. I'm super excited to read some Reddit stories with y'all. Quick shout out to Smosh's reading Reddit stories. I've been listening to them a lot recently while I'm at work, so this has inspired me to make my own reading Reddit series. So I'm going to have a couple stories open. The subreddit I'm sticking to today is BestofRedditorUpdates, but I'm going to be sticking to posts that originated in the Am I the Asshole subreddit. So, okay, first story. Am I the asshole for calling the police on roommate's girlfriend to get her out of our house while he was at work? About 2 weeks ago, my roommate Dave, 23 years old, invited his girlfriend Julie, 22 years, to stay after she was evicted. Dave asked me if she could stay with us till she found a place beforehand, and I agreed. We seemed to get along, and she really didn't bother me and seemed to stick to the house rules we had, so all was fine. Now, a few days ago, I was staying over at my friend's house, and my friend happened to bump into Julie's Instagram account, and this girl was taking pictures in my room with my clothes, jewelry, shoes, and she even had a couple of racy pictures wearing my lingerie. Basically, she did several photo shoots in my room with my clothing and things. Of course, I lost it. But the worst of it all was these pictures where she was standing on my prayer rug, which is highly important to my faith, with her dirty shoes. She knows how important this prayer rug is to me and to my faith, and so is well aware of the disrespect and hurt it will cause. So I cut my visit short and went home immediately the next day. I came home to Julie there and told her everything I knew. She immediately started crying and saying that I'm overreacting and that I was scaring her with my anger, etc. To be honest, I was shouting, so that could have been scary for her. I told her to get the F out and took back my spare key. She grabbed a couple of things and left. We agreed that Dave would bring her the rest of her things. An hour later, she comes back and goes around the back and tries to enter through the back door. I happened to be in the kitchen and shouted at her to go away. I warned her several times that I'd call the police if she tried to break in. She kept at it. Oh, and finally she got in, and true to my word, I called the police. The police arrived and asked her several times to just leave, but she kept arguing with them, and the officer got annoyed and arrested her. She spent the night in jail, and she didn't have her phone with her, so she couldn't contact Dave. When Dave came home from work later that day, he greeted me like normal, and that was not what I expected, so I asked, "Have you spoken to Julie?" And he goes, "No." So I told him everything, and this man started yelling at me, telling me I was an asshole, and took things too far by calling the police. Now I feel like I didn't do anything wrong, but Dave's rant gave me pause. Did I handle this like an asshole? I don't feel like I did, but maybe my anger is blinding me to see things differently. Oh, geez. Okay, first off, she broke into her freaking room. But it's breaking into somebody's room. This is their private space. This is their things. She's wearing OP's clothes, OP's lingerie, taking pictures in her room on top of a prayer rug, and I'm pretty sure that's a highly significant thing. I'm not of any faith that uses prayer rugs and all that, but I'm pretty sure that's a very delicate thing that they love and cherish. And okay, so OP added a clarification. The officers initially asked her to leave. They tried talking to her for at least 15 to 30 minutes and explained how they don't want to arrest her, but she kept shouting and swearing at them. She didn't leave as was requested, and they arrested her. A comment goes, "LOL, no, not the asshole. You confronted the culprit for her actions. She escalated the situation, but not leaving after being warned." Commenter, "LOL, no, not the asshole. You confronted the culprit for her actions. She escalated the situation by not leaving after being warned. You may want to look into a restraining order or something legally binding her from you and your space. and be very clear with Rumi about why she is not welcome. Whether you or he moves can play itself out, but make sure you cover your bases. She did it once and will probably do it again. OP commented, so I actually filmed all the images she posted on her Instagram to use as evidence, and I recorded everything from when I first approached her, so she can't even say I threatened her or did anything other than confront her. The officers did look at it as she tried to say I hit her. Pfft, okay. Luckily, we also have cameras around the outside of the house, and so I captured her breaking in and her interaction with the police and me. I downloaded the video and audio files, took it to the police, and they've told me to file a restraining order, which I've done. Dave has been staying with her in an Airbnb and only came home today, but he didn't say anything to me other than to grab a couple of things. I actually sent all the recordings to him just now, and we'll see what he says, because the story she's been telling him does not match what happened. This is an update from OP. Here's an update with my dilemma with Julie and Dave. He truly thought she only took one of my kimono robes or something, and that I was overreacting. He watched all the recordings and he called me to profusely apologize for not believing me. He spoke to Julie about the recording and questioned the story she was telling him. After some talking, she basically told him that she was envious of the things I had, and since she was trying to be an Insta influencer, jeez, okay. Since she was trying to be an Insta influencer, she needed to constantly have new things to post. She's Delulu, bro. She also said that she felt like me having luxury/expensive lingerie and undergarments was a waste because no one got to see it. And since she couldn't afford lingerie from a bunch of expensive brands I can't pronounce, I was being a selfish ass for not sharing. Okay. So she felt like she deserved it more. She's just insane. I'm crying. Hold on. She wanted to show my things off to people who would appreciate it online since I wouldn't and didn't. She took pictures with them to get more traffic, etc. And apparently it was a hit since she got more followers, engagement. And it was even getting requests for sponsorships for more luxury item sellers on Insta. The craziest part is she was doing this for far longer than the 2 weeks she was living with us. Some of the pictures were taken months ago. Can you imagine my shock that I've been basically sharing undies with her for months? You can't imagine how this is effing with my mind. Also, her roommates got her evicted for the exact same reason. She was stealing things from them and taking pictures with their things while pretending that she's some jet-setting trust fund kid. I'm not rich or even comfortable. I don't come from wealth. I just like certain things and save and skimp for months/years to get these expensive luxury items I have, and I take very good care of my things. Her envy is very confusing to me since she actually comes from money. She still has the pictures up on Instagram, but Dave was able to get her to delete the ones with my prayer rug. She refused to remove the other ones, and honestly, the most important thing for me was protecting what my family has protected for centuries. Dave seems to have been truly genuine in his regret. It also does help that he offered to replace all the things she violated. He also broke up with her. All right, yeah, I break up. You do not want to be dating a stealing, lying, insane, crazy person. Crazy. All right. Next story. All right. Okay. Am I the asshole for serving my husband divorce papers when he wanted a divorce? Pretty fair to me. I, 39 female, was pregnant and a stay-at-home mom to my toddler when my husband, 39 male, said he doesn't love me. He wants to split up with me because I was too hormonal. I was blindsided, admittedly. I've been critical of his messiness, his challenges keeping up with household duties, and our values deferred. Despite the shock, I tried to fight for us, apologized profusely, and we gave it another shot. Baby was born, and 3 months in, he tells me he wants a divorce after I woke him up at 10 a.m. to move his laundry. I was feeling resentful and that he was unhelpful, but because he works late nights, he considered this the biggest disrespect and flipped out. Swore at me and said he wanted out. We both wanted to settle outside of court, so we looked for mediators. I found 2, but went nowhere. Mediation was going nowhere. I got a lawyer without his knowledge and planned to serve him a divorce. Before serving him, he moved out, but still expected to use the house. One time, he came back to see the kids, but he was working loudly and disruptively, so I asked him to leave. This led to a major altercation. He swore at me in front of the kids and my parents, threatened to call the cops. After this, he canceled the credit card I used to pay for the kids without warning. Then he got served papers. Immediately asked me for my car title, the kids' passports, and canceled my phone, which he was paying for. Since I didn't have a working phone and my lawyer considered him a flight risk and he wasn't communicating efficiently through the lawyers to make a schedule, he didn't see the kids for 2 weeks. We had our day in court, but the final determination is delayed because he insists we aren't married. Since he got served, he's been furious and accuses me of being pure evil, but the divorce was his idea. I wanted to work things out. He thinks taking him to court for custody and child support is the most vile thing and shows my poor character. He's badmouthed me to family and friends. He thinks I've been controlling the kids' schedule. He sees him about 3 days a week, but I'm not comfortable with sleepovers at his house yet. He's also furious about the 2 weeks he didn't see the kids, yet he still hasn't paid a dime for their expenses and has more potential quality time with them than he ever did. Tell me, am I the asshole for serving my husband divorce papers and asking for child support for my young sons instead of just letting him leave and giving him 50% custody? There's no consensus on this post yet. OP said, responding to multiple comments, thanks for the opportunity to clarify, as there's tons of details I couldn't fit in the original post. Firstly, we had an agreement in place that he would help move the laundry over, especially on his own, because he decided to get a top opening dryer that I couldn't even physically reach into. Secondly, he was such a slob. He would leave his laundry in the machine for days until it reeked of mold and he had to restart the cycle over again. I think it had been at least a full day or 2 of me reminding him to move over his laundry because I have a lot of kids' laundry I had to do and it was getting urgent. He promised repeatedly that he would get to it before going to sleep that night. Third, he does not work, quote, the night shift, as some have assumed. He works from home, gaming online, creating his own hours as his own boss. Great. He's a fucking gamer, guys. So he would often work late into the night, but typically asleep by 3 a.m. at the latest. This particular night before I woke him, he had fallen asleep by 2 a.m. and thus I actually waited until he had a full 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep before waking him up and asking him to do what he had promised to do the night before. This was after 8 solid hours of sleep for him, and meanwhile, I had been up already since 6 a.m., running after a toddler, taking care of a newborn, still healing from birth, and having had to wake up throughout the night to nurse every other hour with a total of maybe 5 very interrupted hours of sleep. In addition, yes, I stay at home and don't work a salary earning job, but I have my own money and interest investments going into the marriage. And we always kept our finances separate. I paid for my own clothes, food, travel, everything. I contributed to the household and children, but he always paid more as he was the one working while I was making and taking care of babies and putting my own career on hold. The house was mine as well. For the last year or so we were together, I had access to one credit card that was connected to his bank account that I only used to buy food for my kid. I had access to his Amazon where I would only buy diapers or any necessities for the kids. He canceled both abruptly without warning. The car was bought with money from a loan we got. He insisted, but I didn't want to get this loan. And since he was handling the transactions because I was busy with babies, he put his name on the title and said it didn't matter whose name was on it because we're married and it's all the same. He already had his own car and totaled mine a couple years ago, so this car was bought to be mine. Now he abandoned me with all these outrageous loan payments as well. Here's a comment. OP should find out if she is legally or truly married. OP responds, yes, my attorney has always assured me that we are indeed legally married. First, we had a religious ceremony over COVID. Then exactly a year later, we got a marriage license and had friends who were ordained perform a tiny ceremony in their backyard with a couple witnesses. Everything was signed and sealed, but my ex just didn't send it in time. However, this is just a formality. It doesn't matter that it was returned. All it matters is that we got it signed, did the ceremony. We always considered ourselves married and called each other husband and wife, filed taxes jointly, etc. He only started going off on this "we're not even married" thing after he decided to split up. This is another update 2 months later. He escalated things and made it so ugly now. A couple weeks ago, he pushed his way into the house unwelcomed, wouldn't let our child go, and stole a toy from the floor, so I gently nudged him out and told him he needed to leave, to which he slapped and grabbed my wrist and shouted, "Don't effing touch me." He then filed a frivolous and fake domestic violence restraining order against me, and the next time he had the kids, he never brought them home. It was the first time my babies had ever spent a night away from me. It's been heart-shattering. We go to court next Tuesdays, fingers crossed. Well, honestly, I kind of hope she filed charges and has some kind of record for that. Her husband sounds like a real piece of shit. Faking a restraining order and stealing kids' toys that he probably has the money to pay for. It sounds like he's just lying to everybody around him just to make him seem like he's the better in this situation. He could have just quietly allowed this divorce to happen, but it seems like he wants to go insane berserk mode. There's no update as of now. I don't see anything. This was 16 hours ago, so third story. Am I the asshole for not wanting to give my friend her key back? I became friends with a couple, female 26, male 31, when they moved to my city about 3 years ago. I met them together and I'm now closer with the wife, but also still friends with the husband. About a year ago, the wife moved to another city for her job while the husband stayed behind to finish his master's. Okay. I got a call from the wife in September. She was inconsolable and said that she had a brief affair with someone, but called it off because she wanted to focus on our marriage. Don't cheat, dude. Affair partner did not take it too well, found the husband and told him everything in painful detail with screenshots and photo evidence. The husband was obviously blindsided and devastated. They are still in two separate states, and the husband has gone to low to no contact with the wife, asking her for space. She has been incredibly emotional since this happened. I've been in contact with her multiple times a day, even just to check in and let her know she's loved and important. She's understandably been a mess. I've seen the husband a few times, let him know that the wife told me what happened and that I just wanted him to know that I'm here if he needs anything. My goal is just to be there for both of my friends and not get in the middle. To me, it comes down to some bad decisions that were made that had really painful consequences. There's no villain in the story. People are not the sum of their mistakes. Okay, first off, you have self-control. You can just not cheat with your freaking partner, you know, the person that you decided to marry legally. You literally you're fully aware and capable of your own fucking body. You do not have to, you can't, you literally, I'm so mad, dude. I'm so mad. You have the ability to just not cheat on your partner and be fully in control of your body and actions. All right, continuing. Fast forward to present day where the wife was served with divorce papers. She wants to talk to him in person, but he doesn't. He agreed to FaceTime only if they do speak. She wants to fly here without telling him and show up on his doorstep to fight for the marriage. They have a door code to their apartment that they use every day. They also have a key, which they gave me about a year ago when I was watching their pets. When I went to give it back to the husband, he said, just hang on to it. He let her know that he has changed the code to the door, so right now she has no physical way to get into the apartment if he's not home. She's also concerned that he won't let her in if he knows it's her, which I don't think would be the case, but who knows. She asked me to pick her up from the airport and give her the key so that she can get in. I said I'm really not comfortable with it because I don't want the husband to feel like I've betrayed him or was part of some ambush. She's also walking in at 10 p.m. when he is not expecting anybody. I'd be really spooked if it were me. He's former military, but I just think it's not great to surprise anyone that late. Yeah. I know this sounds stupid, but I suggest that if she Ubers to the apartment and he won't let her in or isn't home, I can drive over. I'm only 15 minutes away and give her the key. But then she said no. She is on lease, so she can still legally enter the apartment. I reluctantly agreed to give her the key up front. Am I the asshole to him if I give her the key, or am I the asshole to her if I don't give it to her up front? Edit 1, she's clarifying, they were still together when they gave me the key, which is part of why I'm conflicted. Another edit 2, difficult situation because her mental health has declined significantly since this occurred. Well, you know, brought it on yourself, basically. Okay, a comment. You would... She cheated on her husband. She tried to get away with it, and a fair partner outed her. She cried about wanting to work on her marriage. She tried to get you to use her mental health to manipulate him. She's asking you to help her violate a boundary he set. Okay, we have an update on the wife and an update on the husband. So for the wife, I let her know this morning that I wouldn't be giving her the key. As many of you predicted, she instantly responded with complete virtual. No discussion, no please reconsider, none of that. Just straight to, I can't believe you right now. I can't rely on anyone. Thanks a lot. Fine, you will regret it. That one was a bit unexpected. I probably would have been shocked if I hadn't read the feedback on this post beforehand, so I honestly was unfazed and just responded that I don't support what she's trying to do. And like a few people mentioned, if roles were reversed and the husband was asking me to do this, I would absolutely be saying the same thing, and that she needs to respect my decision because it wasn't going to change. Among other things, she told me I was ruining everything. I let her know that unfortunately she's the one that has ruined everything with the decisions she made in the past, and that it's time for her to start taking accountability and stop looking for people to blame. I also told her that I would be giving the key back to the husband and letting him know what she was planning. She lost it. Lots of swearing, self-pity, threats to self-harm, and then said I wasn't a good friend to her. That's when I had enough. I told her I was done being a punching bag for her, and that I know I've been a good friend to her when no one else was supporting her, and I saw her through dark times. I said her selfishness has finally crossed the line with me. I ended it by saying that she's in a dangerous state of mind and that she should reach out to a therapist and share a conversation so she can give her objective view of it. I let her know that she needed help and I can no longer give that, and I was done. She sent me 2 apology texts about 5 minutes later, but I haven't responded and don't plan to. If she somehow shows up at my door, if she flies in tomorrow, I won't be answering. And the update on the husband, I let him know everything this morning. We're good, and we made plans to give him back the key. She's supposed to be flying in tomorrow night and leave Saturday. He actually won't even be in town for this weekend. Yeah, there's always a villain to a story, and a lot of villains usually try to make everybody else look bad. Anyways, that was me reading Reddit stories. I hope you enjoyed. I'm trying to figure out a way to set these up that it's better for me to read rather than actually scrolling through the entire subreddit and looking at everything. Because it's kind of confusing to look at first, but you know. Thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.